Well, I was a bit surprised. Hey, what's up, fight nerds? This is your boy Gashawn. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today we're going to be talking about UFC 257, which just passed, and it was really a night of upsets. A lot of people who were expected to win did not, namely three particular matches, but we're going to be really focusing on two of them and what they really mean for the division that they both occupy. The first one we can talk about is Amanda Ribas and Marina Rodriguez. So Marina is actually coming off of a draw and a loss, and Amanda is like, the ascending talent, right? Like, she had two back-to-back wins, I believe, in 2020, and she was expecting to kind of, I guess, maybe not run over, but it was supposed to be a win for her, right? And that did not happen. She was rocked early on in the second round, and then she literally went head first into the mat at some point. And while getting ground and pounded, Herb Dean accidentally kind of made contact. He made contact with Marina, which made Marina think that the match was over, but it wasn't. And then unfortunately the onslaught just continued from there, which came in the form of, I believe, two right hands, which then Herb Dean promptly stopped it. Now, Amanda still has a ways to go. She's not a bum. Her style is still well-rounded. Like, she's still great. It's just that, I guess, everyone gets like a bump in the road, and obviously she's gonna come back stronger. At least I'm hoping so, right? My editor Josue was heartbroken. He was heartbroken about this. Literally the whole rest of the night, he just kept talking about this one, even with the other two matches that we just saw. But it's funny. But I hope she bounces back, and let's just see what this means for Marina. Because to be honest, I think out of the two of them, I think Amanda still has the higher ceiling than her. But somebody just has your number on that particular night doesn't make them a better fighter. I think that's what it was when it came to this particular fight. Next, we can talk about in the men's lightweight division. This is Dan Hooker versus the newcomer, Michael Chandler. Now, a lot of people were buzzing about this for a couple of reasons. One, Michael Chandler, someone who's had a long history in Bellator, who, he said that he always thought about coming over to the UFC because the UFC is where the top talent was. I remember when he was over there, he was talking about how he could beat Conor and Habib and all these people, and that was cool. And he is also very well-rounded. His best skill is obviously his wrestling, but in this match with Dan Hooker, he actually won by knockout in the first round. So what do I think this really means? So after watching that match, I watched it one more time after, it doesn't really tell me much about Michael Chandler except for the fact that he came to do what he was supposed to do. However, they spent almost 3 or 4 times going around the octagon with Dan Hooker standing in like his feet were in the warning track the entire time. And the way he got caught was just in transition, just in motion. And Chandler just said, you know what, if we're gonna keep on doing this, and he pretty much kind of analyzed his movement pattern and just gave him a left. Okay, that's good. The reason why I say it doesn't tell me too much about Michael Chandler is because it wasn't like Michael Chandler used what was in his skill set to nullify the game plan that Dan Hooker had, because it didn't seem like there was really much of a game plan. I thought Dan Hooker, I had Dan Hooker for this one, by the way. I thought maybe he'd be able to keep him away, keep him at the edge of his punches, because he's been very good against people who are supposed to be wrestlers. That's something that he's pretty good with. His gas tank is a little suspect later, that I do know, but in terms of his striking capability, I figured that would have taken over, especially because Chandler holds his chin really high. Really high. It was up in the air. So I figured for someone like Dan, that'd be a thing. But I'm guessing, apparently he must have seen something or felt something when he was in the ring that just made him just revolve around the octagon and not go for too much of anything. And you even saw visibly that Michael Chandler was getting pretty frustrated. He just kept putting his hands up. He's like, are we doing this? Are we good? Just keep on doing this the whole night? And he went in and made the first move. So I'm guessing maybe Dan was waiting to counter, but just didn't think that the first punch was going to do that to him. The first real punch was going to do something like that to him. And it was what it was. And obviously, Michael Chandler, that now puts him high up there because Dan Hooker was number 6. So it's probably going to make him number 5. He's going to jump up on these rankings, and now he becomes a contender, right? I mean, I don't know if he can go skill for skill with other people yet until we see like an actual fight and not something like this, not just like someone getting clipped. But that'll remain to be seen. And I'll talk a little bit more about that after the next fight. So let's get into that. We just got finished talking about the co-main event, which was Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler. Now, the main event was Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. Now, they were looking forward to this, right? They were like, oh man, Conor McGregor's coming back and he's just gonna mop the floor with Dustin Poirier because he beat him in 90 seconds last time. And then some people were like, no, Dustin Poirier, he's bigger, he's better, and he's gonna win. Now, I'm gonna say, I thought Conor was gonna win, but it had nothing to do with the fact that he starched him in 90 seconds. No, that's a very surface way of looking at things, because just because that happened doesn't mean it's gonna happen again. I got it based off of just looking at the way Conor McGregor normally moves, his in and out movement, the way he slides back and forth in that almost karate-like stance, and his fundamentals are usually very good. He'll hit, get out of there, give a 1-2, get out of there. Like he's elusive, stuff like that's usually what he's doing. And even when you look at Dustin's last wins, these are against people who are constantly engaging. Like when he beat Justin, a lot of engaging. When he beat Dan, constantly in the pocket, right? Like you can see when he, you know what I mean? Like when he's even with Holloway just sat there with him trading. Like it seems to be a bit of a pattern, but there weren't too many people who were sitting there being super skillful, super elusive in doing that, which is what you've seen Conor do. And mind you, I'm not like a huge Conor fan, but I can still recognize skill, especially in certain areas when I see it. However, it's not overlooking Dustin, because Dustin has improved by a lot. Yes, he is in a weight class that is better suited for his frame. Like he's a really big guy. He was way too big for 145, and he was pretty much emaciated down there. And now, like you see him, it's like he looks like he can make he's way over 170 is what it looks like when he's in there. I heard on the fight he was like 178. He looked physically bigger than Conor McGregor in the ring as well. So it is a difference, and his game plan changed too. Like he added the leg kicks, because one thing that when I always talk to my friends, I say, if someone has a lot of movement, if their strength is movement, you have to get rid of that tool, which is usually leg kicks. You move with your legs, get rid of the legs, slow down the movement, and then make the fight slow down, because that's what you need. And he did that. Here's a crazy thing. Conor just wasn't moving that much to begin with. Conor wasn't moving like we've seen him move in the past, where he just slick getting in and out and stuff like that. He wasn't doing that. He was doing the jab and the left like he normally does. However, he didn't step back. He wasn't taking a half step back to get out of there. He was just standing there. And he wasn't even like, it's not even just to avoid getting hit in the head or the body. Like when he was getting kicked in the legs, he wasn't actually checking them, and he wasn't even taking a step back. Like once he got hit by like one or two of them, you would think, okay, remove yourself from the range of the kicks, come back in and continue, because he was hitting Dustin with a couple of really good strikes in the first round, which you can easily give Conor the first round. You can easily do that just by base of what you're seeing. But he never checked the legs. His movement wasn't that good, and they're saying that because of his camp and all that. Like that's this, and like that's what Habib was saying. Like, he switched camp and he had somebody else, like his childhood boxing coach or whatever, and then he goes and blames it on inactivity, which I don't like. I don't like when he does stuff like that, because like you're taking it away from Dustin too. Like, oh man, I wish I was more active. Well, if you felt like you were inactive, why would you go in there? Like if you felt like you had some type of crutch, why go in there? So I don't really want to hear that. Just go like, this guy got me. He had a good game plan. That's it. And he did say that later, but leave all the other stuff out of there. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Just leave all that other stuff out. But Dustin had a good game plan once he slowed him down. And mind you, he even caught him with punches that normally would not be the best punches for him. Like he caught him with like hooks, which normally if you're moving in and out, those are the ones that whiff and you can punish it with straights. But he wasn't getting out of there. So he got him with the legs and then was punishing him with like these right check hooks. So good game plan. He did what he was supposed to do. He did everything he was supposed to do. He evolved in what he was supposed to do. And Conor don't know what he came in there with. And maybe it has to do a lot of the mentality, right? Like maybe like he's in there with someone who needs to win versus him who wants to win. Like there's two different things, and that's a whole other mentality. Like he doesn't need this anymore. And it's seen, right? Now, what does this mean for the lightweight division? What's next for the lightweight division? Honestly, I don't think Conor should be anywhere near the title picture. Why was he even there, right? Like, why was he even in that? He hasn't won in the lightweight division since 2016. That was against Eddie Alvarez. Then he lost 2 years later in 2018 to Khabib. So him talking about inactivity, he's never had a problem with inactivity before. He took 2 years away from the UFC. He went to go fight Floyd. You know what I mean? Like, now it's a problem. So how is he still in the top 5? How is he still in the top 5 after not being? I mean, I know why. I get the politics of it, but I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense. So if Dustin is supposed to be in line, have him either fight Oliveira, or, you know, if he's waiting to get someone, have Justin, or here's what should happen. If Justin and Oliveira fight for, like, maybe like the number 1 contender for that, or they either fight for the vacant title, because Khabib is not coming back. He's not coming back. But Dustin, if he wants to do this trilogy with Conor, that shouldn't be for a title. If he wants to fight him again, that shouldn't be for a title, because Conor, why should he be anywhere near that? He shouldn't be anywhere near that. So let Dustin go get some more money fighting Conor. In the meantime, for the vacant title, let Justin and Charles Oliveira do that. That's it. That's what I think. And then Mike and Chandler could go fight Ferguson or something, which is something we want to see. And then let him get next. You know what I mean? Or later on, Chandler could wait for what's going after the trilogy and go fight Dustin. Because Dustin has no interest in fighting Chandler right now. He said, you know, he beat Hooker, and why would he want to fight someone who beat the same person that he just beat? Okay, whatever. You know, I wish the rankings actually meant something than just, like, you know, something to look at online and to talk to you with your friends, but then they never really go by it. But yes, that was really my takeaways from that. Like, I hope Chandler actually gets a chance to really show his true skill set. I hope he gets a match like that. I think against, like, Ferguson or any one of these other guys, he should be able to do it, right? I mean, you never know. And I hope Dustin doesn't get left in the dust, and Oliveira gets left in the dust, because he had a great win over Ferguson. So he's got to fight someone up there. He's got to be in that conversation. He has to be. But get Conor out of it. Get him out of the. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And it's not based off of, like, how I feel about him personally. He hasn't won in a division since 2016. What are we talking about? The win against Cowboy was at 170, by the way, for anyone who doesn't understand why I'm saying that. That was at welterweight. That wasn't at 155. So that's just how I feel about it. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you're like, oh man, those are all the people who I wanted to win. If you made a lot of money, that's good too. Comment down below. Yeah, that's it. Stay tuned for the next pay-per-view. Enter the Nerd.